Hello, you beautiful people, and welcome to the as of yet award-winning That 40k Lunchtime show, where we dive into the meta dissect lists and just provide a whole host of grade A banter along the way. As always, I'm joined by for now, just my guest, my panel of expert, Jack Tite. Can't make it; he's lost his voice. Something about just out all weekend, raving, partying hard.
Yeah.
We know what Jack's like. He just can't control himself. Absolute nutter. And we were supposed to be having Tom, but he is, just doing Tom things and failing with the internet. So something's gone wrong there. So that's why we're slightly late. So for now, we're just gonna go with it. Gonna go with the flow, Ed and myself, as we rock up. Anyway, Ed, how are you this Monday lunchtime?
I am pretty good, thank you, Chris. How the devil are you?
I can't. No, yeah. Tom's not joining. Tom's not going to be joining us. He's in the room, but he's a ghost, which is a shame. Not quite sure what's going on there. I'm okay. Had the Boiler Man visit today. Not a euphemism. That was fine.
Nice.
I was supposed to be going to a football tournament straight after this, but that's been cancelled due to the rain. So other than that, I can't complain. But obviously, we are here mainly to talk about Fulgrim, aren't we, Ed?
Yeah! I finished him. It's exciting.
Finished.
Look at him. Look at him in his glory.
He'll be up on our socials soon enough, on YouTube
Yeah.
Shorts, TikTok,
All
all the
the
good
likes.
stuff. Yeah, give
Speaking
it
of
all the
which,
likes.
Yeah, speaking of which, go follow the TikTok page. We've only got 150 of you 9,000 people so far. So
Yeah, TikTok, 6++ Gaming, guys. Go check
and
it out.
if you're scared about downloading TikTok and making it giving your brain rot, it absolutely will do that. But you do get to see my face. I think that's a reasonable trade-off for it. So I think
That is the definition of reasonable, if ever I heard it. Right. Anyway, so this time the plan is there's going to be absolutely no technological issues this time.
absolutely zero.
We're
In
gonna
fact,
use
we'll
it.
talk while we're doing this little bit.
Yeah, we're
So
just gonna just free flow over it. There we are. Boom, bish, bash, bosh. Look, this so smooth, silky smooth. Ed, can you see that?
yes, I can.
Excellent. That's exciting. Oh, it's gone.
Thank you, JMR Lens. I love the Fulgrim. It's a great model, and I'm very happy that I've actually finally managed to finish him.
It's Well, you got off to a really good start with it, didn't you? And then it kind of died off, and then you're back again.
Yeah. It's standard with projects.
Standard Ed move there. Right. So in today's show, we have. It's actually quite a quiet week when it comes to Warhammer news, but over in the UK at least, something very exciting has happened because it's the new team season, the ITT, and we've got light and heavy boards. So we're going to dive into those. We've just had, or it's still going on, I believe, the Paris War Games Expo as our event. So that is one to talk about. We're going to be looking at that. Who am I? We'll have to put off for this week because it'd be a bit unfair, me versus Ed. And then we've got a couple of lists to dive into. We haven't actually got a Dear Deirdre, so there's no problems to solve this time. So it's probably going to be a reasonably shortish one. So you can rush back to work, everyone, and tell everyone at work what excitement has been happening in the world of Warhammer. So here we go. UKTC. Obviously, as everyone watching this will have known, I did a Yumi and UKTC video series where I deep dived all the maps, and that's for singles. In the last iteration, for teams, we didn't have heavy and light boards. We were just all playing on medium boards, and so it's quite exciting because we finally got light and heavy boards back. And I guess if you're a UKTC goer, it's especially exciting because that's right, everyone, we have a new piece of terrain, which is something that many people have been going on about for a while. And it's being rolled out for the first time in teams. Will it make it over to singles? Well, we'll talk about that in a bit. But what I've done is I've picked 3 of the maps and I've picked the light and heavy boards so we can just talk through them and get Ed's opinion, really. So here we go. This is, they're in no particular order, apparently. At this point, I'm like, oh no, if I put the wrong one down, no, we're okay. Why wouldn't I start with number 2? That makes perfect sense. Right, so mission number 2 and 4 is the diagonal board setup. And
Mhm.
as you can see here, on the heavy board, what they've done is they've got this new piece of terrain called the square. And the square is basically along the board edge, which has been something that a lot of people have been asking for. Because as we know on this particular map, it's quite easy to just shoot into your opponent's kind of staging block. Um, so yeah, that's their attempt at making it heavier. And then on the light board, they swiveled round the objective. So essentially, it's nearly impossible to sit on your natural expansion objective without getting shot. Nearly. So Ed, what do you think of these board changes?
The heavy board is like any medium board I've ever seen.
Yep.
It's still you can still get shot on it, but it does mean that you don't get shot from your opponent's deployment zone, which is nice. I think the square is interesting, right? Like I think it's weird that it is a 5 by 5 square. Now I've been told that there is a reason for this. My first question was, is it a good reason? And I'm not 100% sure whether it is a good reason for it or not. But the heavy boards are indeed heavier. That's one thing I will say. They are indeed heavier than what they're meant to be. Are they still not heavy enough? Probably, but that's the nature of UKTC, right? I think it's gonna. I think it's an improvement. But I'd like to see these boards, the heavy boards, in normal games. To be honest, like that's where I'm at. Like I
Well,
think these
yeah.
I think these heavy boards would be great. I think if this was just a standard setup for UKTC, I think it would be a drastic improvement of what they currently have. My thoughts on the UKTC boards are known and not very subtle. But yeah, I think it is an improvement, and the fact that they've actually given light and heavy boards for the pairings dynamic is actually quite good. The light board is lethal, absolutely lethal. You can't exist in the middle, which is kind of what a light board's supposed to do, right? So it's definitely done that job. That has definitely done that job role. And yeah, that's my general impressions so far. I need to play on them more, but obviously at the moment I've been playing a lot of WTC, so I haven't really had time to look at them in too much detail, other than just getting them up on TTS and having a look at the lines. But it's much less violent, the heavy board. Like I'd prefer to play on that with pretty much every army that I use. So
Let's
I
say
feel like
so
there
because
might be a
obviously,
few people fighting for it.
yeah, because you can see on obviously the light board is fairly self-explanatory. You just shoot through everything, but on the heavy board, so they've got this square at the bottom, and
Hmm.
historically you had to be aware of someone deep striking down. We're going to assume this square is flat, and you can
Yeah.
just land there. It's just going to be a bit of card, we would assume.
Hmm.
Um, and so that means you could you can still rapid ingress behind that. Potentially, it's even more dangerous, right? Because if you just rapid ingress behind that square, and then with the plan that next turn you're going to move on to the square and shoot into the middle ruin, well, actually, you're now safe from being shot back when you rapid ingress.
Yeah. So the thing is, though, as a general rule, the armies that are going to be fighting for those boards are going to be in a position where they'd rather just not get shot and risk the rapid ingress. Because at least if they're doing that, they're provoking things like reactive moves, and yeah, at least they provoke from reactive moves, overwatches, something that provokes some sort of interaction. And also it's giving you attacks on being able to shoot into that area. So if you don't have if there is sense now, right, like if you've got a unit that's staged up in on the objective behind that room, like a little combi lieutenant or something, if you want to rapid ingress the Centurions and move onto it, you can't. They only move 4.
Yeah,
It's only fast moving shooting units that are going to be able to do that in relatively good efficiency. And if they do, then fine. That's okay. But you just have to. Effectively, it just means that you limit the activations. Whereas currently, if you have an uppy downy army, you could without that small square there, you just get shot down that line by everything. Whereas now they have to rapid ingress, and one unit can do it.
yeah,
And the sort of armies that are aiming for those boards don't really care about not being able to shoot at the thing that the rapid ingress with. Like if they're gonna in those games, they're gonna rapid ingress there anyway, and they're gonna rapid ingress 12.1 away because it's a combat matchup.
yeah,
So I think that's less. I think that's less of an issue. We'll find out, right? But I think rapid ingress and moving onto the square is 100% something you can do. But you got to remember, it's also a 5-inch square. So if someone's rapid ingress like a vehicle, right, like to shoot you, they have to end wholly on wholly on it or
Yeah.
over the edge of it, and they still have to end 9 away from the thing that's like just behind the 5-inch ruin. So I think they have to end up moving like about 14 inches, math says. So, I still think it's fine. And then if they rapid ingress, and if the thing can't shoot you in rapid ingress is there, it's not going to rapid ingress, or else it's going to get charged. The thing you do have to worry about is from their expansion, they can shoot your expansion. That's a worry, So, but on the bright side, that does mean they have to be quite close to you somewhere else to actually shoot you.
Yeah.
So again, it's provoking these interactions and actually giving you something that your opponent has to do, or like has to put themselves into a more compromising position to get these activations they really want out of the units that are there. Because if you're going to sit on your expansion to shoot into my expansion, then I can charge you from the middle ruin,
Yeah. Sure.
which is fine, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think it's much better, but I still think it has its issues, but it does seem a lot better.
Be interesting, won't it? Right, anyway, so in a weird order, round one, obviously there's only one of these maps, which is the Terraform one. So first, it's what you're playing first round. So if we look at the heavy board, the change here is the square has gone on either flank and created some line of sight blocking for the little bit of objective that you can hold. I don't know how many models you can fit on that little bit of objective. And then in terms of the light board, I don't know about it. Almost feels like this light board is actually heavier
Yeah,
than the standard board because what they've
it
done is
is.
they've
Yeah,
swiveled it around so it's not at a diagonal. But now the shooting lane. Now I get it, right? If you want to sit on the terrain in the middle of the objective on the terrain piece, you're going to get shot from various angles. But there is some space to put, I don't know, 10 OC with five strike marines, for example. 5 strike marines can probably fit on that little area and not be shot
yeah,
from any sort of good angle.
yeah. I'd agree.
And it almost feels heavier than the normal board.
It's
So
it's
what
it's
do you think
he-
about this one?
it's heavier for sure. I think I think this would be a nice little change to their actual
Yeah,
to their actual pack. Every light and heavy board I've seen is either the light board's ridiculously light, which is fine, it should be right. But like if this was the standard board and then the then the standard mission was the light, it wouldn't surprise me. Like
yeah,
that would be a change that I could see. Also, it's gonna promote people on a lot of these missions and a lot of the maps that you're going to see ahead to have like one model with pretty solid OC,
mm,
sitting on a point and being annoying. So on here, like let's say for instance, Vulcan just goes out. At this point, you just detach Vulcan or send, or if you can fit a company heroes behind that little ruin, you do as well. And you've got like OC like 14, 16 on that little expansion, and they can't do anything about it. So they have to kill Vulcan, and to get that, there's some really violent angles that they have to hit. And if they do get into those angles, you can shoot them back. So I feel like this is definitely heavier than the other one. Also, it gives you a lot more like security to be able to go out and terraform that objective and not lose a unit.
yep,
Whereas
absolutely.
before it was if I terraform, I lose a unit,
Yep,
which was sort of like the trade-off, right? Again, I'm not saying it's good that you can get shot everywhere, but this basically means that like at the first turn, there's going to be a minimum one, probably two terraforms going off, maybe even three. Um, and yeah, I think this is I like the change, but not to make it a light. I like the change for it to just be a medium
the new
board.
standard. Yeah,
Yeah, if this is the standard, it's fine. Also, the gap between that ruin and the home is still so long. Like it's still so long that it doesn't provide any benefit to staging. But you still have it's basically just a tax, right? You have to terraform the area and screen the area from something deep striking and shooting you.
yeah,
So that's something you'd have to bear in mind. I think UKTC boards now they always have loved to have a lone op, but I think especially now the lone op is going to be like a little lone op piece with a reaction like a combi lieutenant, a Calidus,
yeah.
a little one man band just sitting there. Been annoying. Blood Ninja players with Fiston on these maps, I think is actually not bad either. I just sat there with Fight First in the combat matchups.
It's the fight first, isn't it? That will make it quite Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's little pieces like that that will basically like make all this quite manageable for a lot of people. And yeah, and you want high OC one model pieces because I think that's going to really benefit from that, especially the heavy as well. Because we didn't mention the heavy too much, but the little 5 inch square on the side of that means you have the tiny little gap, which weirdly you can't fit a big unit
No, you
to.
can't, can you?
You can't
Yeah,
fit a big
it's
unit, and you can't, and it's not a good staging area either.
you just
Like
get
that's
shot.
another. I mean, yeah, exactly. Like it's not a good staging area, but like there's a world where you can fit a 5 man, but the ruin is closer to the home, so you have to close the gap originally to be able to stage, and then if you stage, you still can get shot from certain angles. But the 5 inch square does protect you from the other angle, so it does help you there, which means you again it's provoking things to shoot you from the other side of the board, which means that they're going to be getting close to you, which is okay. But it's going to still lean towards these 20-man bricks just getting ripped apart because I can't hide.
Yeah. And then finally, we've got the search and destroy one, which is obviously hidden supplies and taken hold. I've got the hidden supply one here. So what they've done is for the light board, they have not really changed much. Oh, I've put the standard board up. That's because I'm a moron. Sorry about that, everyone. Right. I know what they have done in the light board. They have moved your little natural expansion objective off of the feature.
Yeah, they
Okay,
brought the
so
terrain back a smidge.
yeah, they've pulled it back, so you can't sit there if you want to hold any objectives. You have to just sit out in the open. So that's the light board. Sorry, everyone, I've put standard up because I'm an idiot. And then at the bottom is the heavy board, and you can see the squares have returned. And the squares are there to really make sure you're definitely not getting shot turn one, because a lot of people would like to put kind of like um, models at the bottom of their deployment because there was a big space to go there, and it did mean that you could potentially get shot there from fast moving things. But now that's pretty much definitely not going to happen. It doesn't necessarily impact the game that much. Like you're still hiding behind it, and when if you don't want to get shot, and when you're hiding behind it, you're still in your deployment zone.
Yeah, you're still too far away.
Yeah, you're still
Um,
too far away, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think obviously your like camera by the way is blocking off at this image, but if you guys look above Chris, you can see the little 5 inch by 5 square. But basically that area means that you can still get shot late game effectively because they can still land. Because again, if you land on this is something that you have to worry about with rapid ingress shooting. Because if you're on the 5 inch profile, you're going to get shot, as we all know. That is how 40k works. And if you're behind the profile, it's a 5 inch gap between you and where they can rapid ingress. That's a lot easier to rapid ingress and move and shoot than it is on the Crucible map. Like it's much easier because obviously you can't to screen it out. You have to be out in the open.
Hmm.
So it is heavier, but again, this is actually susceptible to rapid ingress shooting, like pretty violent rapid ingress shooting. So I think it's definitely heavier. You're definitely not going to get shot from a long way away, and it does provoke interaction. The fact that they have to rapid ingress, they have to get close to you. They'll be provoking overwatches, like reactive moves, all that sort of stuff. But it's still quite open. Like like if you to
Yeah,
hold your expansion, you have a tiny sliver to put one or two models.
same as
The
always. Yeah,
bonus, the bonus of this is that you've got a very long way away. So basically, you've got to look at it from a perspective. If you're using a combat list, do you like this map? I still don't like this map because if you're using this right, if you still have to exist in the middle, you've got that central objective that you can move out of and charge, which is great. Um, but ultimately, you've still got the problem of you've got to hold your expansion and to threaten areas that you want to threaten, you have to close a really really big gap. Like if you're still that 5 inch square doesn't give you any extra movement in terms of staging,
no,
apart from deployment. It lets you deploy a little bit more safely, but in terms of actual reach, it doesn't give you any reach.
no,
To be able to threaten it, you're probably still having to sit in the open for a turn, or you have to have a unit that will move a ridiculous amount of inches to then be able to threaten. And those units are normally quite expensive and valuable. You don't really want to use to deny an objective here and there. You want it to actually get in there and do something dangerous, right? So, like, I wouldn't want to send Jane Zara into 5 intercessor to deny 5 primary, right?
yeah,
It just doesn't feel good. So I think that's where this is going to be sad. And I still think uppy downy armies on this are crazy. Like The 5-inch square helps with long range shooting, but again, this should just be a standard map. Like, this doesn't feel dense.
Doesn't
It doesn't
feel heavy,
feel
does it?
dense. Like, I feel like their version of dense. This is the thing. Like, I want to take like something really combaty and violent to ITT, but of the heavy boards have been released, and I'm like, I still don't feel it, because I still feel like even on the heavy boards, 20 mans are going to get absolutely ripped apart. There's nowhere to stage apart from your central ruin, which means your army becomes exceptionally predictable. You still have the issue that they can inch away from their ruins. The 5-inch ruin means that they can still rapid ingress and shoot you. All of these things mean that you're going to be giving up a lot of potential damage output just by trying to exist in the middle. So I I still don't think they've done the brief on this map
I
personally.
think for me, it's a really interesting one because I remember when we previously had heavy boards and people didn't actually really pay attention to the maps. We all knew the light board was light, but no one really paid attention and measured out the heavy boards until you got to the tournament. And then people would be like, yeah, I'm a combat army. I'll play on their heavy board. And then they play on the heavy board. And I think it was I can't remember if it was diagonals or I think it was diagonals. And they'd be like, guys, this actually is worse for me. Because what they did was they pulled back the natural expansion little L in the old days. They pulled it back further away. So that meant an army trying to stage in, a combat army trying to stage in the middle and attack their natural expansion had further to go to charge. And this almost seems the same. It's almost like UKTC. When they think of a heavy board, they don't think this is a board where combat armies want to play and can stage better. It's almost like you're taking a heavy board so that you can play more defensively.
Yeah,
Um,
it's the wrong like thought process of how to design boards, basically you can see that. I don't know who's done the boards, and I'm not meaning to badmouth them at all, because terrain sets are hard to design. I've tried to do it myself with the terrain I used to use at the events that I used to run, which wasn't UKTC. It was like the old VT stuff, which is good, but you have to. But because of the way the edition evolved, we use profiles and stuff, and I tried to write my own, and it is hard to get that gauge right. However, after like an event of feedback, they were nailed down and it was fine, right? And then you have something that you're never going to make everyone happy, but in a team setting, you should be in a position where you make most people happy, because making a
yeah,
medium board is okay. The bit that's a bit skewed is whether the light board and the heavy board are too much. But if their light board's too much or the heavy board's too much, it's fine if they're too dense or too light, because at least people know what they're getting themselves into, right? But when the dense board isn't dense, or the light,
yeah,
that's where you've got an issue. Like these 5-inch squares on the search map don't they do stuff to protect you from the violent shooting angle, but you still have to go out and do the thing, right? It does
yeah.
help for sure. I'm not saying it doesn't help, right? But it doesn't help you threaten
Yeah, it
anyone.
helps defensively, but not attacking wise.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it doesn't give you any reach, which I basically on hidden supplies on this map. I think they should have pushed the big ruin to the left by like an inch or two. And at that point, you can hold one of the middle hidden supplies objectives with like one objective, with one model behind the wall, right? And then the rest of them are still relatively open or relatively deniable, and you've got a closer area to threaten. Now that's everyone's going to turn around and say, that's way too dense, blah blah. It's not. Look at WTC runes. Look
Mm.
at any other set like which you try and create a dense board. There's always an objective in the middle you can hold relatively reasonably and that you can threaten from. But here there are none. Like your expansion objective is far too far away, and there's no staging between you and between your expansion objective and your opponent's deployment zone that is actually safe. Now, I don't mind that on a medium board. Obviously, on the medium board, this is okay. Having one objective you can hold and then threaten the rest is fine. But on a dense board, I feel like you need to have more agency to be able to play combat games. And again, it's still search and destroy. Combat armies still have a natural advantage here, anyway, from just being closer. And the rectangle being next to the ruin means you can charge into that and do some pretty violent things, which is pretty fun. But you're still doing it from your deployment zone, realistically.
Yeah.
Which
So
is
fast moving infantry, jump back infantry, you can still run over and punch something, but if you're a 6-inch combat unit, you're still struggling, basically.
yeah, exactly.
Right, so there you are, guys. As a quick little run through, and we'll see how things develop at ITT.
And
So
sorry, and no, Mr. Happy, they really do not want to buy new terrain.
no, they are going out of their way to do that. You're right. So the Paris Wargame Expo is an event that is still ongoing. So we're just going to have a look at kind of where it finished yesterday. So this was obviously a event in Paris, and it's the top cut is playing today. It's not actually showing us the on BCP. It's not actually showing the top cut, but I believe Manny won his first round and Kyle lost. They were the two UK guys who were there. So
Yep.
what we'll do is we'll just look at the kind of where it finished, and we'll look at the undefeated. So, look at this good old Death Guard back here. Um, as a Death Guard main, I fully know their power. Um, so this is Virulent Victorian, which is the sticky objectives one. And this has got a Putrefier, a Demon Prince of Nurgle, Lord of Contagion, Malignant Plaguecaster, Tallyman, and then 10 Plague Marines, 1 Rhino for the Plague Marines, unit Spawn, and then we've got 2 units of Death Shroud Terminators. We've got obviously three bloat drones, we all love bloat drones, and then a couple of Blight Haulers and 20 Potswalkers. Very interesting. This is almost identical to what I played into at LGT first round. Just a bunch of good stuff, isn't it, Ed?
It's a bunch of good stuff. It all does damage. It all loves the interacting with the contagion range. It's tough. It kills you. It is slow. I think it does. It's still a very powerful list, but I do think it suffers from from the sins of the past a little bit because it got nerfed very heavily. Um, but yeah, I think in the current meta as well, with the sort of things that people are building for, it sits in a really nice space because I don't think many people, yeah, CK are around and stuff, but in terms of just the holes that are just durable enough and just annoying enough to create overcommitment, means that you're in a position where you can respond really nastily with the rest of your stuff. So
You can
I quite
punish
like
them,
it.
don't you? When they have to commit 2, 3 units to try and kill a couple of your vehicles, and then the rest of your stuff can just hit a
Exactly.
really hard time.
It's a classic old Mortarian's hammer, except slightly different in the fact that you've got vehicles that provoke a certain level of commitment, and if they don't commit enough, then the units live. If they commit too much, then they die. That's the theory. Obviously, the armies that can meet that stat check kill them without having to give up too much. The ones that beat Death Guard pretty confidently. The ones that can't do it don't do it very well. So.
And then we got good old World Eaters. Ed, your favourite.
Gosh,
Look at this, a 45-point win, game 2. What on
what a
earth is
legend!
happening there?
Supply drop. Neither
That
got
is
15. Bosh.
that is exciting. So Berserker Warband, Shock Chorus, we've got Khan, double Slaughter Bound. We've then got 10 Corn Berserkers. Oh, hello. Here's the real secret source. Chaos Land Raider, yes please. Triple Spawn, 8 bound, 8 bound, Exalted 8 bound, Exalted 8 bound, Exalted 8 bound, Hellbrute, Hellbrute, Jackals, Jackals. That's a bit spicy, isn't it, Ed?
Yeah, it's a bit odd, but yeah, it is spicy. Like, I think the land raiders for 220 points, the record guys, are very, very cheap. The only issue is moving them around. Now, on these GW maps with WTC ruins, there actually are relatively decent places to move these things around by memory. So I can see that having value. But apart from that, it's the usual good stuff. You've got 8 bound, you've got slaughter bound, you've got the 10 berserkers with Khan. This is obviously less of the skew route of the berserkers. This is
Yeah.
much more of a sort of I think, an attempt of a balanced approach. And I think the land raid will provoke commitment, which then at that point things can respond back, and it's somewhere safe for people to sit down and vibe in the meantime. So yeah, it's a list. It definitely does the thing, and it eats worlds, I imagine, because he's on 5-0 with a 46-point win, which is
Yeah.
very odd. But I'm proud of you for that.
It's
That's
not
almost an achievement in its own right.
just for frame of reference, everyone. It's not battle points; it's strength of schedule. So that's why he's second
Yeah,
place with a 45-point win. Thousand Suns. They were nerfed into the sun, surely, but we've got someone who's managed to go undefeated with Hex Warp Thrall Band.
Oh,
Is that
let's
the
see where this is
vehicle
going.
one?
It might be. Let's double check. I feel like it's not. I feel like that's a different one, but I think this is
Yeah.
the.
Well, what is
I think this is
it?
the Terminator one.
Oh, it's
Carry on.
no.
Read stuff out, and I've got the. I'll get
That's
the
Rukai
attachment.
Phalanx, isn't it?
Oh, it might be actually. Yeah.
So Magnus, Exalted Sorcerer, 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 Sorcerer. Then five rubrics, five rubrics, five rubrics. Really changing it up there. We do then have 10 Scarab Occult Terminators, 10 Zangors, 10 Zangors, 10 Zangors, and then 3 Zangor Enlightened with bows, 2 Spawn, and a Rhino. So it's definitely not the vehicle one.
No, so it's actually the Psycho one. And now that sounds obvious.
Yeah,
But if we go to the top of the characters, we've got Magnus the Red, Exalted Sorcerer, Astral Blast, blah blah blah. Is there any? No, there's no enhancements there. Then we've got a Sorcerer
you've
with
got one enhancement.
Empiric Onslaught. Empiric Onslaught. Add 3 to the attacks range of the weapon equipped by the bearer, which on a sorcerer is quite a lot actually. Now looking at
Yeah,
it, like because the sorcerer has its own ability where I believe she gets like sustain 2 and a once a game thing. So let's have a look. So sorcerer T-Suns, he has an ability where she can get plus 3 to the strength and attacks characteristic, which then does mean that when it shoots, it gets 12 shots at strength 5 AP 1, sustain 3 with full rerolls
that's the
and
thing.
reroll ones to wound because it can get reroll ones to wound as long as it's in their flow of magic, which is obviously very. That's actually quite a lot of damage from that little 60,
Yeah,
80 point, 110 point dude. So then we've got a sorcerer Terminator armor. Yeah, it's fine. 5 rubrics, 5 rubrics.
bunch of rubrics.
Yeah, a bunch of rubrics.
20
Infernal
rubrics,
characters.
10.
10,
It's got a brick of
yeah,
Terminators,
10 Terminators, 2
30
10
Zangors,
Zangors. Yeah, 30 Zangors.
and then
Um,
a Rhino. And
Zangor Land with great bows. Yeah, that seems like obviously it's doing well, and it looks like there's lots of little MSU pieces that are
mission
going to
play.
punch well above their weight.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's almost it's also the stratagems, right? So by memory, the hex warp, the hex thingy warp band, whatever it's called, is quite good. So let's have a look. Hexbook full brand. I remember there's one really interesting stratagem here. So it gets sticky.
okay.
It gets a fight on death. Yeah, get fight on death. Fall back and charge. That's cool. Fall back, shoot and charge. Here it is. So start the reinforcement step. So Scarab Terminators. Rubik's units on this. So if Rubik's unit until the end of the phase has deep strike ability, so you can uppy downy with Rubik's or Scarab Cult Terminators. And
Okay,
if it's within your flow of magic, you can come 6 away,
nice.
which is funny.
And charge?
I believe so. It doesn't say you can't.
Nice.
That's cool. And then Warp Flame ignores cover and loses the benefit of cover. And then yeah, so that's fun. It seems like T-Sun's bullshit to me. I think it seems quite cool. It seems quite cool.
Yeah, I quite like that, actually. All right, then we've got Mr. Olivier Weiss, who, of course, came over to LGT, captain of Team France. He loves his Marines, knows what he's doing. He's on Hull. He's gone
Here we
to the dark
go.
side with the Raven Guard. But look, Gladius Task Force Raven Guard. That's a bit of a spicy
Exciting.
meatball. So we've got Sean, who's the
Mm-hmm.
very well-pointed lone-up guy.
Yep, he is.
Captain of Jump Pack, Coven Strike, Lieutenant of Combi Weapon, Intercessor Squad, and then going all over the place here. 5 JPI, 5 JPI, 5 JPI, 6 Inceptors, so 2 nasty little bricks of Inceptors, a Scout Squad, 10 Vanguard Vets, 10 Vanguard Vets, 10 Vanguard Vets, and then a Calidus.
So Vanguard vets, by the way, guys, are insanity right now. I think. So if we scroll up, do they all of his have Inferno pistols? Yeah, they do. So basically, do you know the old thing of like, what's it called? What are they called? The Death Company with the Inferno pistol trick. This is basically very similar. So basically, they don't have invuns because they get the Inferno pistols instead. But these things can rapid ingress down, and these, especially in like this detachment where they can advance and charge or like or advance and shoot or anything like that. The Inferno pistols are actually kind of nuts, right? It's 10 shots with Oath, especially with Oath and +1 to wound.
Mm.
They'll open most transports. In a devastated doctrine, those units of that unit of 10 Vanguard vets will fly over to a vehicle, right? Get 10 shots. If they're in melter, then great. But if they're not, there's still 10 shots. Threes to hit, rerolling. Strength 9, AP, or strength 8 or 9, whichever. Either way, into something big, it's going to be force to wound. And then +1 to wound for force to wound. And they're AP 5, ignore cover. That's a lot. So, like, I can see the value in this. Obviously, he's not got the step sense, and obviously, I don't know what I can't remember what the terrain exactly like here. It might just be more like staging and combat orientated. That might be why he's led towards this. The students of Inceptors with bolt guns as well in the Devastator Doctrine are really violent because they'll just shoot you with, like, 24 shots with
Yeah,
twin
sustained. Yeah,
linked, sustain 2, twin linked, AP2, ignore cover, which is a lot of damage. I feel like he's definitely designed this with, like, maybe the world eaters in mind, or maybe he didn't. I don't know, but like, it just feels like there's a little of the CV manipulation in its own right with the captain with jump pack. Sean can give out the reroll charges. You've got a flat fight on death here, which is awesome. It's a really interesting list, and it's very unique. It's very unique. I like it. It's very innovative in its own right, and I think it's also very good. So well done, Olivier. I really like that list. It's probably one of the
yeah,
first Raven
excellent.
Guard lists which is interesting, which doesn't have Centurions.
Yeah. Right, we'll take a look at a couple more. I guess we should look at Mr. Carl Grundy, who's
Yeah, well,
obviously flying the flag of Tau. So he's on retaliation. Obviously, at the moment, a lot of people in UKTC anyway have been talking about Montcar
yes,
and just going, "Oh, I'm here. Oh, you're dead."
yeah,
So Carl's gone down the retaliation route. So we've got Farsight, Cold Star, Cold Star, Cold Star,
yep. Triple Cold Star,
Enforcer,
solid.
Enforcer.
Yep, solid.
Strike Marine, Strike Team, and then Crisis, Fire Knife, and then Star Scythe, and then Sunforge. See a pattern here. Oh, triple Sunforge, and then some Kroot, Pathfinder, Stealth Suit. You get a lot of stuff, don't you? Stealth Suit.
Yeah, this is a lot of guns. This is like so many guns, right? Like when you sort of look into you look at, like, the battlesuit build. Now, obviously, I think Montcar, in terms of UKTC orientation, I still maintain it's better, but Retcad has value in its own right, in the fact that it has a 6-inch deep strike. It has, I believe, it has a fire and fade. I think, if I remember though. And it has, Carl's obviously been doing work at it. He went to LGT, went 5-0. He's gone to this event, gone 5-0. So obviously there is some spice in there for sure. I feel like Tau Empire are in a really strong position right now. Anyway, I feel like in the current meta as well, like, they really like doing a rapid ingression Overwatch.
Yeah.
Just, they absolutely love that stuff, which they can do. Also, the whole thing about, within 12 they get +1 strength. If the target's within 9, and +1 AP. Like, there's so many orientations here that they can play aggressively really, really well. And yeah, so I think I do like this as I've been looking at Tau myself a little bit. Don't tell anyone,
Yeah.
Chris. It's all secret.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, we won't tell anyone. Don't worry.
Yeah, we're not live, right?
No, no, definitely not.
And yeah, and like, it's how battlesuit units, they have a fire and fade for CP. So it's how battlesuit unit from your army that can fly after resolve attacks. If the unit's not with engagement rate, it can make a normal move, which is obviously really cool. So you've got a lot of ways to use these long range, like missile pod battlesuits and stuff, and then hide away. It just seems quite powerful. But I feel like I feel like the weakness of this list is the fact that, yes, you have a lot of stuff, but also a lot of them do fall over.
Yep.
Like, it's like a lot the ones that, like, a lot of people worry about don't have invuns. And I think they might have shield drones and have an extra wound or something. I can't remember, but effectively they still die, right? That's the bit that you worry about. But yeah, apart from that, I still think this is very solid, and well done to Carl for getting to another final cut. I'm sure there's more to come. And yeah,
Good lad. I guess we would be remiss to not also talk about Mr. Maichima, because
indeed.
you like Eldar, don't you? And he's put up some good scores there: 90, 90, 797. And you know a bit about this list, I'm going to assume.
I do know a bit about this list. So we have Asaman, Fugan, James R, Lycus.
That just looks nice, doesn't it? just the 4 Phoenix Lords,
Oh,
just boom there. It's
beautiful.
just mwah, chef kiss.
Stunning, stunning. So Azamin, Fugan, Lycus, Janes are standard combination, and like you got Lycus for the threat range, Fugan to get back to transport with his friends. We've got a Wave Serpent, Dire Rangers, and Falcon. Dire Rangers and Azamin and Falcon at the start of the game is fantastic for early trades. They can jump out, shoot, get back in. I do just think this is a better version of Morgan Ra. And then we have 10 Fire Dragons. These guys go with Fugan, they go in the Wave Serpent, they can distract to get back in, they can get lethal sustain, they can get crit fives. They are amazing. We have 3 units of 5 Banshees. I already know this one. So 3 units of 5 Banshees. These guys are fantastic for early trade pieces. And the fact that they do go off and kill 5 Marines on average most of the time. They can sometimes have a little bit of a whiff, but we forgive them and all their love. Because a 2-tick rolling ones to hit just makes them very, very consistent. Then we have 2 units of Rangers. And then 3 units of Hawks, 3 units of Water Spiders by memory, and then 1 Warlock Skyrunner. Yeah. So effectively, the 1 Warlock with the Power Blades goes with Lycus. That can move 24, 26, shoot and charge. That does a lot of damage. This list does kill World Eaters really good. This is a matchup that's famously bad for Eldar. And I believe Manny played them a couple of times, maybe once, at least once. And he really, really laid down some hurt with this list. And it will. So, I think this setup is very solid. I think Manny's going to be on to a pretty good. Obviously, he's the English lad that's currently 6-0. I'm rooting for him. Hopefully, he gets to bring in the win. The Warlock Skyrunner just sits at the back, holds the objective while the rest of the army sends. I love it. Anything that lets your entire army send into the middle just makes me extraordinarily happy. I love this list. It's great.
There you go. We'll have to see how he gets on. In terms of other undefeated, so we've got an Orcs, we've got our Leagues of Votan, we've got Sacco and Emperor's Children. Just for my own sake, more than anything, we're just going to take a quick look at the Grey Knights list, because that's right, Grey Knights went undefeated. Yes, that's right.
It looks like every army in the top.
It's quite impressive, isn't it?
Every single army is different.
Yeah, we'll come to that. So we've got Crow, Grandmaster. We've got 2 Dreadnought Nemesis Grandmasters, 1 unit strikes, and
Tom's here.
Oh my word, that's exciting!
He's here! Yay! Just as Grey Knights turn up.
So
Come on, Tom.
Yeah, as soon as there, I'll just add Tom back in. Look at that.
Hello. Sorry about that. That was quite a journey, but we fixed our tech issues.
You're only 45 minutes.
It's taken me the entire time.
He did say 12:45. To be fair to him.
That is so true. He sent me a text earlier. I was like, Tom, do you want to be on the show? He's like, yeah. 12:45 me. Right? I was like, no, Tom, 11:45.
That was me last week. It's fine.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Sorry, everybody, but we're here now. I didn't give up.
It's been a great show, everyone.
So what main task force, Chris?
Yeah, I know, it's really shocking. So double Interceptor, then Purify, because everyone just runs 10-5-5 for that. Nemesis Dread Knight, just one of them, and then a Storm Raven and a Razorback. And I think if you're interested in running a Storm Raven, this sort of list is the one that you'll see everywhere at the moment. Interceptors are just great for early board pressure, developing the hallowed ground, but then being able to fire and fade off of it again, so you're not necessarily sacrificing them. It's got a lot of killing power here. It can go all in and just wipe someone off the table. If you're running a Storm Raven, that sort of list is a very powerful one. But what we were just about to say, Tom, was that the meta, in terms of if we were to look, so these are all the undefeated guys.
Yeah.
We've got Death Guard, World Eaters, Thousand Suns, Space Marines, Tau, Admech, Eldari, Orcs, Votan, Emperor's Children, Grey Knights. Every single one is undefeated. We've got another World Eaters with a draw, so they don't count. The top 11, there is no repetition there.
That's so good, isn't it? And that's where we're at. It's a great field right now. It's especially, I think in singles especially, there's a degree of irony, right? Because we've been talking up teams forever, and teams is amazing when you can smooth a meta out that's a bit ropey. In singles, it's just full rock, paper, scissors, let's go. There's all sorts going on. There's so many different things. I love that Death Guard and Thousand. I think Death Guard and Thousands, I suspect once people have got over I think GSC will be the same. Once people have got over the initial sulk and then tried to play it, they'll be like, actually, this is still fun. Like this still does a job, right? And so T-Suns, we've seen a couple of really deep runs. There's just not many people actually trying to make them work. So that's super exciting that they actually are still in the game.
Yeah, and I really like the T-Suns list that he's got as well.
What flavour was it, this one?
It's
the
Hexmark
Hexmark.
full band.
Yeah.
Oh!
It's the Psyker one. It's the Psyker one with a sorcerer that fires 12 shots. It's strength 5, AP 1, sustain 2, full rerolls.
He can get it in.
Sorry, sustain 3. But the thing is, he gets extra 3 strength. Sorry, strength 8. Sorry, he gets extra 3 strength and 3 attacks. But then he gets from his ability. But then he gets another extra 3 from an enhancement.
Yeah.
So he just goes out and just goes blah,
Yeah.
die, and then he can Overwatch and do the very similar thing.
Yeah, it's awesome diversity at the top, and I think that's really exciting. I mean, I think they put a lot of effort into the last balance run, didn't they? And it attacked a lot of different things at once.
Yeah,
and I always think that's the key in this game. If you want to make it interesting, you have to make a bunch of different stuff change at the same time. The reason it gets boring is when it's like new book, everything else is the same. New book stomps on everything. That's the really dross meta. The exciting meta is when you're like, everything's shaken up, let's go. Everyone runs out and sees what happens.
Yeah, and I also think that, like, you know, the Votan as well. There's a Votan undefeated that was that was exciting that we should go through at some stage.
Yes, Votan.
Oh,
yes. I've decided that Votan are basically good. It's just that they either dumpster things or they get dumpstered. That's where there's no in between with them.
He's half banned, my friend. He's
Arcanist Evaluator Ed. Yes.
Yes, we discussed this in our tier list. By the way, if you didn't see that shameless plug-in, you should go.
And look, it's Hearthguard as well. 10 brick of Hearthguard. These are units that people wrote off. They're both good units. They're both really, really good. Is he? What detachment is he?
Half band.
Yes. Tom called this as well. Hearthband is legitimately really good. Like, Hearthband is a very solid detachment. It murders Space Marines. 20 Hearthguarders are really nice. This is actually quite a lot like my list that I took to our RTT, to be honest. It's not a mile off. He's got less bikes and he's gone for some of the indirect instead. But yeah, I think it's a bit sad because obviously you want to play the book ones. But Hearthband, the new Votan, absolutely sings in Hearthband, and it makes Hearthguard, which were, in my opinion, the best unit. Despite everyone panning them, despite the nerfs, they are the best unit in that book. 20 of those doesn't go very wrong because they just kill Space Marines like they're not even there. It's absurd. Yeah. That Hearthguard unit, when it shoots, is 20 plasma shots, sustained to AP 4 with lethals and rerolls.
Bad, is it?
It's pretty good. I remember Greg started firing it at a Berserker Brick, the 20 Berserker Brick in the Invitational. And the guy was like, "Just so you know, I can surge here." And Greg was like, You're not going to surge anyway. Because after that, it's 10d3 plus 40 strength 4 AP1 shot.
Plus 40.
Sustain 2 lethals, rerolls to hit and wound. So it's like, that thing kills things, man. It's really fun. Anything that can't outmaneuver the Votan gets mulched. But if you're faster than them, like if you're Tau or your Eldar or whatever, you just kick the Votan to bits.
Yay! Thanks for the hot take, Tom.
Yeah.
Say it again. again.
Well, I think that's exciting, and that's Votan. I think it's grown on me. The more I've played it, it's like it's just got a really streaky matrix. Like, some games are great, some games are bad. If you can make your peace with that, like, it's a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's abandoned Drakari. Sako's abandoned Drakari.
He's back on EC, but he's on Coterie, so it's not exciting.
Nah.
Sorry. Right. Well, you know what? Because we've now got another person, it means we can play our game.
Yay!
That's exciting. Woo, woo, woo. Obviously, for our listeners, you'll know we're going to play Who Am I, the show in which we have a very mixed success rate on whether people guess it immediately or actually completely fail. So Tom obviously got off to an absolute start last week.
I did.
First game, just got it first time, first clue.
I did.
So let's see how he does this time. So clue number 1: this character was born on Terra.
Okay.
Good luck.
Born on Terra.
That's him googling it.
Alexa. I know what I'm guessing, and we're going on not much. but
No.
I know what I'm guessing.
Obviously, the goal of this game is that the clues do get easier as we go down.
Yeah, but I'm a perfectionist. I like
It just so happened
got a
that
100% hit rate to keep up.
you do have 100% hit rate. You never know.
That's good. Okay, nice.
Clue 2. This character had a twin.
I don't know. I don't know that one. I can't let Tom beat me again. God, he's a competitive man.
I am quite competitive, though I pretend otherwise. There's one easy pivot, but I don't know about. I'm gonna hold.
He's holding. That's exciting news, everyone. Have you got someone, Ed?
I haven't, but I'll write down a name.
Good, excellent. Right, clue 3. This character was an early friend of Erebus.
Oh God, I was wrong. No.
I think I probably have to eat shit now.
I'm not going to lie, nothing would give me greater pleasure in you all abjectly failing this week.
That's nice, Chris. That's a lovely sentiment.
You never know.
What a captain!
After the bullshit you pulled last week,
I'm gonna pivot. I hate myself, but I'm pivoting.
Oh, he's pivoting.
I've already pivoted twice, mate.
Yeah, classic Ed.
I don't know. I'm pivoting again. Oh God.
Okay. Clue 4.
Yeah.
This character's armor belongs to a former brother that was hunting him.
Oh God. I'm gonna just stay now and just see. Who knows? Who even knows? Who even knows?
What on earth? Who is this? I don't know. I'm gonna write down the same thing again. Because but you've already. It can't be him. It can't be him. You've already done him, so it can't be him.
I will tell you for free, it is not someone we have done before.
Oh no. I don't know. Then carry on.
Okay.
Well, I do know. Well, I do know. Actually, obviously.
Yeah, I don't actually know who we've done before, which is going to add some spice. If I'm
Yeah, that's true. Clue 5.
Okay.
Well, obviously you do know Tom because you've watched every show.
Yes.
This character wields a black
yes.
staff.
A what?
Black staff.
Right, we're going to guess on a name that I vaguely remember, and we're going to go from there. I'm going to lose it at the death.
I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with. Well, I know I've been wrong.
Do you mind if I check the spelling, Chris?
I don't care about spelling.
I've checked it. That's fine.
Okay.
It would bother
So
me.
I actually had a very simple clue for number 5, and I was like, actually, no, screw you guys. And then let's see if I assumed you'd get it on clue 5. If not, but it depends if you've read the books on this character.
I think it might have fallen through my grasp, but we'll see.
We'll find out. So after round 1, who had you written, Tom?
I went in a bit hot here, and I went Malkador the Sigillite.
Okay, cool. And who did you go for, Ed?
I went for Araman.
Okay, cool. Clue 2, who did you go for, Tom?
I stuck on Malkador the Sigillite, but doubt was beginning to creep in at this stage.
Yeah, he's not well known for having a twin.
I don't remember him having a twin, but I could see it be like, I'm sure David Mitchell has a brother, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's like doesn't mean they're relevant, but
no, that's a very good point.
But they might
Ed,
have them.
who did you go to?
Didn't know. Wrote down Alfarius.
Okay.
So that was my brain was like panic twist to Alfarius.
Same.
But I ignored it.
I feel like that's not really a clue 2 for Alfarius. He's quite well known, isn't he? Clue 3, who did you go for, Tom?
I then panicked and switched to Alfarius at this point.
See? It's so easy to happen.
So I was like, well, the baddie ones probably all talk to each other. It's just in a book I've not seen. I don't remember that one. But...
Okay. Ed?
I wrote down Araman this time.
You went back
to I went Araman.
Nice.
I was like, I don't know.
Okay. Clue 4, who did you go for, Tom?
At this stage, I didn't have a clue, so I just stuck with Alfarius.
Okay, nice. Ed?
I also didn't have a clue. Well, I thought I didn't have a clue. I just knew that Araman was born on Terra. I don't think he had a twin. And I knew he was an early friend of Erebus, so I stuck with Araman.
Start with Herman. Okay. And Tom, who'd you go for number 5?
So number 5, I then panicked again and switched the name to the name Argyle Tal.
Okay, that is quite a big change up there.
Yeah.
Nice. And Ed?
Well, Araman has a staff, right? So obviously, I don't know what colour it is.
Wow.
So I stuck with Araman.
I am delighted to say that the character this week was Araman.
God damn it!
I was not confident in that whatsoever.
Ed was just guessing Araman last week. Did you just put Araman in because he kept
Yeah,
guessing Araman?
well, I think it's. Well, I think it was because I was guessing Araman because we were just talking about T-Sons.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's
okay.
probably it, actually.
So I
Ed
didn't know
gets
he had a
3.
twin. So
Yeah.
who's Araman's twin?
I put him
Ormond.
the first one as well. I panic pivoted to Alfarius.
Yeah,
No!
yeah, you could have. When you said you had Araman at first, I was like, "Don't you fucking dare!" You have
No, because I was just like
Araman.
characters born on Terra. There's so many. I was just talking about T-Sons. I'm gonna write down Alfarius. Sorry, Araman.
Yeah,
So
so
I didn't know Araman had a twin.
yeah, he had a twin, Osmond or something, who died to the change and stuff.
I didn't know that.
That was the one bit I wasn't confident with. Like,
Argyle Tal was in the word, but okay, he's a word bearer, so that's why I've just seen Erebus and just gone Black Mace Erebus something. Who's a word bearer, and that was all I had.
It's quite hard coming up with clues that weren't just like all Thousand Suns related. Because my initial clue
Yeah.
was going to be this character's prime arc is someone who some people say did nothing wrong, and I was like, well, that's just really obvious.
You can't signpost it.
Maybe people haven't got it by now.
You played it quite well. No, that was good.
That's a good time.
I personally think it was way too easy. I got it on the first.
Yeah,
guess.
you nailed it, mate. You got it. Round 3. Round 3.
We'll just ignore my my panic pivot to Alfarius.
Do they count as being born for the Primarchs?
Is
that a fair description of what happened with them? Were they not like made? I thought
they were
made in a lab, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were made in a lab and hopes and dreams and a bit of weird stuff.
Well, I'm sure if they think they were born, it's fine. Whatever they're. An early friend of Erebus, so he's definitely a wrong-un. I knew he was a wrong-un.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he got on with Erebus very well, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, Araman doesn't get on with the Eldar because some Eldar once turned up and like fixed one of his. I think it was the Yvain, was it? Was it Yvain?
Well, that was the whole thing where, because there's also a lot of stuff with the webway, and I was like,
I think it was Yvain. I think it was Yvain who turned up and just fixed the dust thing, and was like, "There you go, there's a dude."
Oh, really?
And they were like, he was like, "Oh my god, you fixed it! I've been searching for a way to fix the rubricate for ages." Blah, blah, blah. And she was just like, "Yeah, you're welcome," and just turned it straight back to dust and then walked off. So the answer, that's the reason why they're in the webway so much, because they know the answer to fixing their legion is in the webway, and that's why they keep looking.
That is some cruel shit to do that. Elves are horrible, man. They're just not nice, are they?
I mean, you've got to fuck with the T-Sons, right? It's funny. They're the space wizards.
That is true. When you put it like that, you do have to F with the T-Sons.
I'm sorry, mess with them. I grew up in in a shop floor. Sorry.
Shop floor. Anyway, before we derail too much, we've obviously got, as always, the fact that if you are a member of our YouTube, we have 135 members at last count. If you too could be a member, and if you are, then on our Discord, there's a spot where you can put lists down for us to analyze with varying degrees of authenticity and success and seriousness. So depending purely on how we're feeling and who's on the show. So we've got 2 today. We've got BCG Kobe. He was given a mission, Tom. He was given a mission, and that mission was to put Fulgrim in a list.
Good lab.
And he has done so. So I know nothing about Merc Coast or EC, in fact. But this is his list.
Like it was obviously intended to be like their Gladius. It's their sort of beginner entry point one, isn't it? Just I can't remember what it does. Rerolls advances, maybe. I think something like that. It's very vanilla.
Very vanilla, Kobe. That's the first bit of feedback. So let's go through the list. So we've got Fulgrim, Lucius, 2 Winged Demon Princes, 3 Lord Exultants, 3x5 Infractors, 2x5 Tormentors, 2x3 Flawless Blades, and then the 6 Flawless Blades.
Nice.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, so the supporting ingredients all make sense. No Noise Marines obviously is going to cause you some issues, I think, at times. 'cause
He's been saying it's done well on WTC, but he wants to know if it would work on UKTC. He's worried about Fulgrim.
Yeah, it's interesting. I did watch Kobe playing a Fulgrim game into Harley, and I think it's interesting, his interpretation of that. I think it looked like it was struggling. But I think I really like. I think UKTC. There's enough space, isn't there, Ed, to hide Fulgrim comfortably in the middle before he then springs out.
Yeah, I think so. I believe. You mean on UKTC?
Yeah,
Yeah, there is, and there's profiles that he can walk over, like those little, like, L's.
there's bits
Time-
of
time
areas he
L's.
can go over. Yeah, I mean, and EC in general can cover the distances quite well. I do think they need to take some guns. That's kind of my feeling. Is I think
My feeling is, my feeling is 12 flawless blades are just going to get killed. Really badly.
Are there any rhinos in this, Chris? No rhinos?
Not that I could see.
No rhinos.
Yeah, they'll die really quickly. So I think it's one of those. Fulgrim takes out a lot of the list. I'd drop down to 2 Exaltant, 2 Infractor, no Flawless, and get in your Noise Greens and Rhinos. That's what I think I'd go for. Because obviously Fulgrim acts like his own little combat piece. For like in comparison to like a Lord Exaltant and Infractor squad, it closes more distance, just can't charge through walls. But I think here you drop the. I know that you're really enjoying the flawless though, Kobe. So please take this with a pinch of salt. If you're enjoying them, please do carry on using them. But just understand that on a UKTC gun line, on UKTC boards where the guns are going to be violent into you, you're just going to get torn apart. Not like torn apart, but like it's not going to be pleasant if you don't have something to shoot them.
Yeah.
Because, it's like a screen goes out, or like you need to have something to kill a unit, and then a character gets back up and you charge it. Just stuff like that, like things that you need multi-phase damage. It's going to be very useful, and they're also just very, very good. Is the thing.
So it's maybe cutting back one Lord squad and a little bit of the flawless blades to get you some rhinos and noise marines, and just the staple stuff would help. Because I mean, the scout as well goes a long way there, and the extra reach disembarking is good for those units. Imperial Host, I'm curious about because you can get some sustained hits on Fulgrim, which is nice. You can do some reactive moving, which is fun. But obviously you're going to get limited mileage on a big fat base like Fulgrim. Putting something into reserves is quite fun. I guess you could put Fulgrim up. You can fight one area, then you can go up and go somewhere else. But it doesn't look like there's a huge amount of synergies. I think probably. I don't want to be boring and say coteries, but I just like him. I like him in Peerless Bladesman because then you can always have lethal or sustained when you're charging with him, just all the time, which I think he needs, which is nice. And I think then you still got -1 to hit, but it's fight phase. You've got +1 AP, which is nice on him. You've got full fight on death is nice on him. The reactive charge after something in that detachment is quite nice. Pylon Consolidate 6 is also nice. There's lots of things there which I think I prefer the toolkit there on him if you're going to pick a non-coteries one to Mercurial. But the reroll in advance is obviously fun.
Yeah, it is good. I also don't think you need full Lucius in this.
No, potentially not. No.
I don't think you need Lucius. I think Lucius is fine for mission play and being annoying. But generally speaking, I'm not sure you actually need him. But like, say for instance, I think you probably want a cacophonist and some noise marines. Like, say for instance, I've written up a random list in the last 5 minutes while I've been talking, obviously. And what I've discovered is if you basically take 2 demon princes, Fulgrim, 2 Lord Exaltants, cacophonist, 2 infractors, 3 exaltants. Sorry, 3 exaltants.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
3 exaltants, 3 infractors, some tormentors. So we'll start again. So 2 demon princes with late wings, Fulgrim, 3 exaltants, cacophonist, 3 infractors, 1 tormentor, 2 rhinos, 3 noise marines. That's 1985, and you can get like an enhancement. Oh, it's a 15.1 there. Redeploy if you want, or you can have desperate escapes when they fall back. And that's it. That's a list. And then you've got Fulgrim, you've got 2 demon princes, you've got combat pieces in between, you've got your infractors, and just lose the flawless blades. I just think they're a bit too expensive for the role you're going to want to be doing with them. But that, I think if you want to fit Fulgrim in, that structure what I just mentioned is really good for mixed arms. Because I've also been putting Fulgrim in a list for reasons.
We're both Fulgrim enjoyers here, so you're preaching to the right people.
And I've actually finished my Fulgrim, and he's done. And I showed everyone earlier.
Oh, look at him! He's so pretty.
He's done, and So yeah, I think if you want to take Fulgrim, you're going to want to have some mixed arms in there because you don't want to have to commit Fulgrim too early. So you need to be able to shoot and get rid of stuff. And yeah, that's my take on.
Yeah, I think so. So it's a little bit. It's a little bit of adjustment, but
Yes, it is.
not a huge adjustment. And then you've got a solid list. And I think for UKTC, he basically lurks behind that big ruin and then flies out when the time is right, and you overload with the rest of the army. And I've not run him with the Demon Princes. And I think potentially that is quite interesting because obviously Demon Princes and Fulgrim is a lot to chew through.
It's very good. My list has 3 Demon Princes.
It's a lot. It is a lot of flying invan that is tough. And if they are dealing with Fulgrim, there's not much scope for them dealing with the Demon Princes at the same time, I wouldn't think.
Exactly.
So I quite like that as an approach. So yeah, winged circus.
Yeah, bats.
Lovely. Right, one more. Mike A. Now, some of us like to maybe decide on our armies very close to an event time. That is one approach.
I would never.
Mike A is the complete opposite because he's thinking ahead to March, where he's going to the Manchester GT. He's just getting into Wild Eaters, and he wants to kind of know what else to develop and what to pick up on. He could add a bunch of Berserkers, Jackals, Slaughterbound, Eightbound, Master of Juggerlord. There's loads of stuff he can add to this list, and he basically wants to know what direction he should go in on for UKTC. He used to play Eldar, so he's more thinking naturally about MSU trading, but he's also open to trying the 20 Zerk list. So this is where he's at the moment. So he's got a Demon Prince, he's got Khan, he's got Slaughterbound with the Glaive, he's got 10 Berserkers with the Rhino, 3 units of Spawn, then he's got 2 units of 3 8-bound, 1 unit of 3 Exalted 8-bound, then he's got 2 Howl Brutes, 2 Forge Fiends, and he's got 10 Jackals. And basically he can add whatever to his list. So, I mean, Ed, obviously you've been playing Wild Eaters. I know you don't like Forge Fiends.
Not.
But we had a similar thing last week. So what are your thoughts? Any things on changing?
I think if it depends on the context of his question. Like obviously March, there's going to be like a data slate, maybe 2 between then, right? Because I know that the second one's at the end of March, isn't it? There'll be one at the end of the year, and then one at the end of March, I think, by memory. But basically, in terms of what you want to build in terms of expanding your collection, because you've already got a really balanced approach of stuff there, and I imagine you have others as well. What I would focus on building on is probably going up to about 40 Berserks, just because I think that's the standard number. Now, I'm not saying obviously if you're planning for March, I can't give you an exact definition of the list that you're going to need by then. The terrain might change, the Berserkers might get nerfed, but in terms of, because you've got a really good spread there. A really good spread of stuff that you can select different lists and that sort of thing. So depending on what gets nerfed and what gets better, you're going to be in a good position to pick up whatever you need. So, but I think only having 10 Berserkers when the current meta is looking at about 40 to 50 in the list that you're going to be looking at, I would focus on getting another 30 Berserkers, I think. Yeah. And then if you want to have a look at some good lists, Innis has just released, well, not just released, played one at a Warhammer event a while ago. I can't remember
but Dunehammer in Scotland.
Dunehammer, yeah, Dunehammer Holland. That one looks like you're going to have the stuff for that if you just literally add the Berserkers. Yeah. And that's probably like 50, I think that's 50 Berserkers, Slaughterbounds, Jackals, the Spawn, Exalted.
Yeah.
Because that's the sort of thing that he has built for.
I think for elves especially the more Berserkers the better. Yes. I know it can feel like the MSU tradie is the way. But elves don't trade. I'm doing an Eldari Tactica quite soon. This army doesn't trade, mate. It comes to blitz you. That's what it does, and you need things that make doing that difficult. And 8-bound don't, because they actually are relatively easy for almost all the different Eldar units to not necessarily kill outright, but kill so much of that they're not very effective. Whereas the Berserkers, a lot of elf units basically can't interact with them because the surge is too much. So a couple of bricks of that adds a lot by way of sort of a puzzle for the elves to figure out when they're trying to push into you. and gives you lots of options in that sense in reply. Whereas the 8-bound actually I've never felt they're that impressive in the elf game, because they're overqualified to kill them, and they're very easy for the elves to kill basically.
Yeah, I'd agree.
You could probably go down to one Hellbrute. I do love the little mini game of the Hellbrute. I think on UKTC again, a bit like we're saying with Fulgrim, I think if you have one of them lurking near the middle, that's just the threat of at any point a sort of chain reacting Hellbrute could go off, then you're going to have that deterrent effect. Yeah. But they struggle to get in the game round the sides on UKTC because they're a bit slow.
Yeah, I think generally speaking, that's what I'd be focusing on, dude.
Yeah.
And then just sort of keep an eye on the meta, keep an eye on my amazing like World Eater videos when I get people who are experts on it on the video. And then obviously I just have a look and see what's sort of good at the time, and then sort of adapt whatever list you're going to be using in March when you're going to Manchester, because obviously it will change, because that's the game we all play. It changes and evolves, every 3 months, and it keeps it interesting. But also means if you're planning for that far ahead, I would just more give you some advice on what you should look at getting more of. And I think in the current list of stuff you have, having some Berserkers will mean that you probably have more scope to try out a lot more different lists.
Yeah, as I say, there's the 1 or 2 20s, certainly for the time being, seems to be pretty integral. And you'd expect, even if there are adjustments there, 1 or 2 20s will still be very viable. It's not like you're not going to cop such a nerf as to render a couple of those bricks irrelevant. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Lovely. Well, hopefully that was helpful. We've got no Deirdre. No one needs help in the world. So we're going to hold it there. Mike was in the chat.
Oh, hey, Mike.
He says,
thanks for writing in. We appreciate you.
Obviously, no, it's not going to be possible to plan a complete list. Just giving myself time to practice stuff that's not in my wheelhouse.
Completely that.
Of course.
All right. Well, that is us. Hopefully, there'll be some more news in the Warhammer world than what we had last week.
There's little old Coventry this weekend.
There is, of course, Coventry 3-day event, so that'll be the focus for our analysis for that one. And maybe Jack Type will be back if he's managed to get off the party train.
Yeah, I know. He needs to just lay off the heavy stuff. He
needs to stop going out to rave until 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah, he does.
His army to paint the next day.
It's not good behavior, Jack.
No, it's awful.
But yeah, until next time, guys. Thank you very much. And we'll
Thanks,
see you
guys.
Take care.